Hello, I'm back. Penny here with a little bit of, I guess, some sense of my first impressions of the 41 millimeter Submariner 1 to, what is it, 1240-60? Yeah, I think it's 1240-60. So yeah, this is the new Submariner, and as you know, if you've watched any other videos on the channel, I set it as my goal to acquire this in 2021, and I believe we are only 3 weeks into 2021, and I have acquired it. And so it's pretty astonishing to me that this happened so fast. So I'm still a little bit in shock, because a month ago from this day, I didn't think that I would have a Submariner this soon. And I also was hoping for the Kermit. So, you know, I'm not really making my quest for the Submariner video update yet, which I'll get into, you know, whether or not I feel like I've settled for this watch versus the Kermit. And then a couple of other things are happening in my collection that I want to kind of update on. So that'll be in a follow-up video that just kind of maps out the state of the collection a little and what's happening. But I wanted to just give a few first impressions on this watch, on having it for really 2 days. I got it on the 21st, and so I think it's Thursday. And, you know, working from home, a lot of the days blur together. But I believe it was 2 days ago that I acquired this from the AD. I got a text. Well, actually, I'd visited him a week before, you know, just to let him know, hey, I was ready on my savings goal. I transferred the money, etc. You probably saw that video where I asked him, am I a Kermit level customer? And discovered, no, I am not. And so, but in that conversation, he said, if I want a Submariner, to be ready. So I was a little on pins and needles. You know, this was inauguration week. So there's just a lot of buzz and energy and stuff going on in the US anyway. So I was a little bit on edge. And then the day after, on Thursday, I believe I got a text. Was it the day of or the day after? No, on Wednesday, I got the text. And the text said, when are you coming to get your new sub? So, you know, I texted right back, like, because it was already after hours, so they were closed. I texted right back, I'll be there first thing in the morning, you know, so there was no delay. So it all happened so fast, guys. That's what I'm trying to communicate. The experience was top notch. I mean, I've mentioned before, I have a good relationship with one AD and a pretty good relationship with a different AD, two Rolex ADs I have a fairly good relationship with. And it's purely on relationship, not so much on my spending volume or shopping history. I mean, I have purchased watches, but we're just not talking big dollars here. So that is my background as far as all of this is concerned. But the experience was amazing. It was warm. It was celebratory. You know, my spouse came along. She's looking at Datejust, and so I'll update you about that in my quest for the Submariner kind of status of the collection conversation. And we just had a good time, you know, with the sales rep and the owner, and just chilling and being happy for, like, you know, it was a good vibe. It was a good mood. It was a good occasion, you know, to pick up the watch. So the experience was top notch. It was amazing. I left the store. I put it on. They sized it for me. So I ended up needing one link out. So this bracelet, you know, one link out. And then on the micro adjustment, here's the clasp and everything. On the micro adjustment, I have it all the way in right now because your girl's trying to slim down. Your girl's trying to lose these pandemic pounds. And so that meant that, because normally my bracelets are a little bit loose, but, you know, on this, I have one link out and I have it micro adjust all the way in so that if my wrist does expand or I hit those chips again, you know, I can loosen it up a little. So yeah, you know, the fit is incredible. The fit is probably better than any other watch that I have. And I think basically the Oyster bracelet, because I have the BLNR, but I think this particular Oyster bracelet, the way it tapers, the way it sits on the wrist, other than the fact that the clasp is super big, it is a bigger clasp. And maybe on another video, I can compare this clasp versus the Jubilee, the clasp that's on the BLNR, and versus the like 5-digit, you know, Rolex clasp, which are trash in my opinion. I'm so sorry, guys. I do not like that clasp or the bracelet. But honestly, I can compare this to that. The downside to this, though, is the thickness, is the width. And it is a big clasp, but it still works. It's still okay. Somehow, the combination of the bracelet, the curves, the slim down lugs, and the new clasp, it does fit really, really well on my wrist. I feel like it could fit a variety of wrist sizes. For sure, you know, is a sports Rolex a unisex watch? I mean, it can be depending on, you know, who we're talking here and, you know, what your overall wrist size is like. So, and how you like to wear your watches. So to me, this fits so much better in my memory than the previous generation. The, you know, the whatever they're calling it, the fat boy sub, it was just a little thicker, but really, I don't know if that fit poorly or if I wasn't used to how square the lugs were going to look on the wrists. So in my experience, the previous generation, you know, is a little bit bigger on the lugs, but really what I think it was hard to get used to was just how square it was, you know, versus something that is not going for that profile at all. I mean, this is not on the bracelet, but it's not going for a squared off look. And the previous gen, definitely to the eye, to the naked eye, on my wrist, it just looked a little too boxy. So I did try on the previous gen sub before and an AD and did not want it, did not buy it because it was the sub date actually, but I did not buy it because I didn't like how square it was. And that told me, at the time I thought this was probably like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I didn't buy it because I was like, I guess a sub is not for me if it's going to be so square like that. And I also was very turned off the 42mm Explorer and said, you know, again, it was very square on my wrist. It's not so much that it didn't fit. I just didn't like how square it looked. Now I've kind of adapted to this Rolex sports model aesthetic. So the squareness doesn't bug me. And then this compensates for it by slimming things down and putting more of the width in the bracelet, you know, which everyone knows now is 21mm. So, you know, my first impressions, guys, is that the size is perfect. The size fits and looks incredible. I looked down at my wrist. So we left the AD. Well, actually in the AD, you know, I was trying it on and they were sizing it for me. I had it on my wrist and I was dressed. Your girl was dressed nice. Okay. Your girl was dressed up. And, oh man, and Empress looked amazing. We were feeling good. We have no reason to go anywhere right now, except to the Rolex AD. Like, you know, that's the only time I guess we've gone anywhere. You know, we've gone a few other places, but very, very infrequently. So to get dressed up how we like to, you know, we're feeling good. We're about to go drop these dollars. And I was feeling good. And I had it on. They put it on me. And the AD was like, it looks good on you. I was like, thank you. Yeah, it did. I'm wearing like a sweatshirt right now because our house is freezing. But that day I was wearing a nice like rust, almost similar to this, like a rust color sweater and a pullover, a little jacket. And, you know, corduroy, it was, is it a corduroy jacket? It's not a corduroy jacket. Anyway, it's a wintry kind of over jacket, and I was wearing a sweater and I had a scarf and I was just, you know, rocking that winter style. And with the black watch, the blacked out, you know, aesthetic, no cyclops, anything, for some reason, I looked down at my wrist and it just looked amazing, guys. Like that was the first, you know, that's the first compliment I got wearing a sub was from the AD. And then in the car, we're riding back, you know, driving home, and I kept just glancing at it. And, you know, obviously I have other watches, I have other Rolexes, but something about the simplicity of this dial, no cyclops, the glossiness of the dial, and, you know, the ceramic bezels, the indices wrapped in white gold, you know, something about it it really hooked me. It really caught me, boom, right in the heartstrings. And that's why I made that little video of, oh, I feel butterflies. You know, Floetry, copyrighted music, you give me butterflies, because that's just how it felt. The feeling was right. The feeling was there. And I have felt that way about other watches before. Namely, your girl has felt that way about the Speedmaster Professional. And I realized in having this and having this, damn it, this is the perfect two-piece collection, right? You can throw the Speedmaster on some ratty little NATO strap. You've got your beautiful tool watch, but it's also jewelry, guys. Let's be clear. Come on now. Rolex is jewelry too. I know guys don't like to think of it as jewelry because it's a tool, damn it. Yeah, it is a tool and it tells the time and it is functional, but you got white gold right there. I mean, you got ceramic, you got shine, even though it's, you know, got this brushed look on the rest of the case and on the bracelet. The pizzazz is there, even in their most basic, you know, style sports watch. Well, this is not the most basic sports watch, but one of them, even then, I feel like you have it. It's obviously a little dressy for what it is. A little dressy, right? So I think that I have so many thoughts. I first felt like when I was wearing this, why didn't I start my journey with the Submariner? You know, my Rolex journey began with the Explorer 2, and then it went to the BL&R, which is almost too soon going in that direction. I wonder if I had had this and this from the beginning, if I would have been like, boom, I'm done, baby. I'm done. This is enough. This is it, you know, because they're so perfect. What I like in having the two of these side by side, this is actually Empress's Speedmaster, because it's the Hasselblad Sandwich. Just this side story here, not a story, but side demonstration here is I have this out because we're testing it to make sure it's keeping good time, because we thought for a second that something might be wrong with it, but it might be due for a service. Basically, it's the Hasselblad Sandwich. So you've got the Hasselblad crystal and the sapphire case back. So between these two watches, guys, like, you got everything you need. And what I learned in just a short period of time of having them both, you know, we have this one at home and I've been wearing this, is that, you know, I like a diachromatic look. This diachromatic look is what has you have the black, you have the white, that's it, you know. I mean, technically you have steel as well, so maybe you would count that as a third color. But on the dial, the aesthetic for the dial is just black and white. It's just two colors. And the sub is also that, you know, this new sub with the, you know, with that without a date. It's so simple and it's so, you know, oh, look at that. Yeah, it's so simplistic. And also it manages to pop the contrast of the black and the white. It just, that's what actually gets me. This is it. I said before that I like boring watches, and the Speedmaster pretty much taught me that I like boring watches, and I cannot lie. You know, this is it. This is the pinnacle of boring, and it is boring in a spectacular way. And so I've just really been in the last 2 days just thinking about these two watches of like, something deep inside me is aesthetically satisfied looking at them and looking at the sub. The sub is it. You know, it's not as fancy as the BL&R, doesn't have as much going on with the color or obviously the complication. Same with the Polar Explorer. The Polar Explorer with the white and the black is doing a little bit of that too, right? The diachromatic look. It does have a red hand though. So to me, this is perfection. It's simplicity. It is perfection. I'm on a high from it. And I didn't really even want to make the first impressions video because I'm like, I just need to soak it in. You know, I just need to wear it. But I felt like, you know, this might help other people out there who were considering, you know, going on the gray market to track one down or waiting from an AD to get the call or the text, whatever. This might help you, you know, and maybe deciding which one to get. I really can't say enough about not having the Cyclops. I'm loving it. So yeah, the experience was great. The size, you know, the other thing I would say about it is that this is sort of hard to explain, but you see so many pictures of a Submariner if you don't have one. And, you know, it's a pervasive watch in the sports model lexicon, right? You know, you see it everywhere. I've seen dozens of pictures, or not hundreds of pictures and videos. I've even seen it in person for just a snippet in time. You know, you get to try it on, but it's a very brief moment of time. I would say that I bring all of that. You bring all of that pre-consciousness to the experience of owning one of these. And sometimes it can come up short, like the thing is not as nice as the imagery. But in this case, to me, it far exceeds the reputation, you know, the image reputation, or the image track that has been set, that sets our expectations for what a watch looks like before you even own it. You know, somehow, if that makes any sense, I got this watch and it instantly, whoa, met that expectation. And when I saw it the first time a couple of weeks ago, I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, it's like a little ham and cheese sandwich. It's so basic. It's so basic. But it's good basic. It's very, very good basic. And I could see, in the same way that I love the Speedy, that I could go the distance with the kind of basic aesthetic that it has. So it exceeded my expectation. It is boring in a spectacular way, right? It is boring in a good way, the way this is. And I'm just like wowed by it. I'm going to wear it for the next 30 days. You know, I like to wear my watches for a long period of time. So I'm not going to do a proper review with the box and all of that stuff, you know, fake unboxing. I'm not going to do that until I've worn it for a little while, showered with it. I love showering with my watches, guys. Like, especially these, because they might be all dirty and smudgy from the day. And then you get in the shower and wash all that crap off of it. And, it shines. It literally shines, you know. So I need to wear it, wash the bad boy right here, and see how I feel about it after 30 days to give a better reflection. But I'm pretty sure it's just going to intensify because it hooks me. I feel the butterflies. I even said to Empress the other day when we got it, I was like, I think this is better than the BLNR. And she was like, you're talking crazy. You haven't seen that watch in a while, and I don't know what's wrong with you. Probably that was an exaggeration, and probably I was a little bit like too much dopamine, or, you know, whatever you feel when you have a flood of emotions. I probably was feeling that, you know, a little bit exaggerating the experience in my mind. But I don't know. I don't have the BLNR, or I wanted to compare it to the Tudor Black Bay 58. So maybe down the road I can compare that, have them side by side, have the BLNR in-house and compare that too. But in my mind, you know, there's something about this that just boom, clicks in a way. I love the BLNR, but you know what? This is a question. Is this better than the Rolex GMT for me in terms of how it just gels with my tastes? So I will definitely update, you know, I want to give a little analysis of where my collection is headed now, because there have been some changes. I am in the process of selling a watch, guys. You know, I don't sell watches. I don't like selling watches. I cry. I subvert all of that intention every time. But in this case, it's a good experience and it's the right thing to do. So I want to update in my Quest for the Submariner finale, what's happening with the collection now. There's actually probably a new watch coming in as a result of selling another one. And I don't approve of that for my own practice in general, but in this case, it really made sense. And I think even before I got the sub, I had already made this decision, so it has nothing to do with buying the sub. The sub was already outright, boom, you know, we had the money for that. I had saved it. It's just that I need to feel the butterflies. When I have a watch on and I look down and I'm not wearing something that I know I love, whatever that watch is that is on the wrist has to dazzle me every time I wear it. You know, I'm not going to say yet what watch it is. If you go back and watch my Quest for the Submariner video with the slides, you can probably figure out what watch I'm bringing in soon and what watch maybe left. I don't know if you can figure out what watch left, but it is already sold, and hopefully the money will be in my account on Monday and your girl's going to be strategizing. I hate that aspect of the hobby. I really wish I could just coast and be like, I'll make a decision in a few years. But I think a few years would have been the wrong answer for that particular move. But in the meantime, you know, before any of that happens, I'm going to be enjoying the sub. I'm going to wear it for a month, if not longer. My longest stint wearing a watch was almost 3 months straight. So, you know, this is a good candidate for that. But at least 30 days, I'm going to wear it, and then I'll report back. In the meantime, you'll get that Quest for Submariner video kind of update, finale. And, you know, we have a couple of other little conversations between the two of us that we might release, just us talking about, you know, Empress's collection, which is different from mine. Like I said, this is actually her Speedmaster, not my Speedmaster. Look at that. The best of both worlds, man. With the Hesselite and the Sapphire, eh? So we have a couple of other videos that make it slowly released, but thank you for this journey. I thought this would be a much shorter video, but you know, as always, your girl is long-winded. So, you know, I just wanted to report back. Yes, it is great. I don't feel like I settled. Let me answer that question right now. Did you feel like you settled because you didn't get a Kermit? No, absolutely not. I still want a Kermit. You know, I think there's room in the collection for a no-date sub and a Submariner with the date. And a green bezel, yeah, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I mean, the conversation with the AD made that pretty clear. And so maybe that's a very long-range goal. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the world and what happens in the market and with Rolex and all of that stuff. But for now, I'm very satisfied. I think this has the potential to go the distance in my heart, you know, with the heartstrings and just the it factor and how it feels. It's on par with this. It has not dethroned. I was thinking about it this morning. You know, does this have the potential to dethrone beloved Speedy in terms of what I like? And the answer is no. I think that this is the glossier sibling or cousin, distant cousin, you know, to what I like in this. This is more matte dial. You know, this is, it's very vintage feeling, at least this version of the Speedmaster, you know, because of the Hesselite crystal, because of the matte case or the matte dial, because the informational bezel is so intense and there's so much going on. You know, it is it's different. It's the same color scheme, but I like this. This edges it out, but this with its glossiness and its, you know, it's not gilt, but the gold indices, you know, it's perfection in its own right. And the two of them, my goodness, if you're out there and you like both of these watches and you don't have them yet, try not to buy anything else until you get one. You know, if you can get a sub somehow, and if you can get a Speedmaster, your journey might be over. Take it from your girl now that, you know, if I had started here, maybe it would have been over. I mean, I'm a collector at heart, so maybe not. But there is something very satisfying to me about this two-piece set right here. And I don't know what else could you need. You know, you can put this on a leather strap if you want to have it a little bit dressier. You can even put this on a NATO if you want. You know, what a great pair. So I am smitten. I don't have much else to say. I managed to say my first impressions, give first impressions for like 25 minutes. But it's really just me gushing over, you know, the watch. I do love it. It's a great call if you're considering, even remotely considering the date versus the no date. You can't go wrong with how this looks. You know, I have other Cyclops Rolexes, and man, I am surprised by how much I like looking at the dial without the Cyclops. It is delightful. All right, thank you for watching. Until next time.